Alright, and after a long hiatus, we are back. Welcome back to Brisbane Magic. I'm Jared. I'm here with Jitesh from Brizzy.
Welcome, guys.
Hey, so we've got the... What was this? This was the Return of Weekend 2017 at Good Games Brisbane. So this was day one? This is day one, wasn't it?
Correct, this is day one. This was the Legacy event.
We had a really good turnout for this. It was 58 or 59 players. I think there was a bit of confusion there.
Correct, yeah. I believe there were 59, just one short of the target requirement of 60 people.
Oh, no, we had 58 because one person was registered twice when we made that announcement. That's okay. Right. So, yeah, we had 58 players. So the idea was we were going to give away a Lotus at 60 players, but old mate Carl said, nah, we'll do it anyway.
We'll do it anyway. Yeah. Exactly. Good on Carl. This was to coin the Legacy Nationals. So we have the Highlander National down in CanCon every year, and sort of the Vintage Nationals at Dandenong down in Victoria every year. But there was no real title for a yearly national Legacy event.
Well, so you would have thought that the one at Dandenong was for Legacy as well, because Masters is Legacy, Vintage, and Highlander.
Yeah, they hold all three events, and CanCon hold all three events as well. But there was never really a trophy associated with any particular event.
All right.
Also,
I guess it's ours now.
It's ours now, and there's a trophy and a Lotus up for first place. So this was the biggest Legacy event we've had in Brisbane in a while. Usually our weekly crowds range from 20 to 30 odd people. We've hit 40.
That's still the largest in the Southern Hemisphere for regular Legacy.
For regular Legacy events, correct. Melbourne is doing pretty well as well.
They're getting, I think, 20 per event at the moment?
Yeah, recently they've been doing really well, 20-ish. In their proxy events, I think they've been getting a few more, and some of the larger events have been getting 30 odd. So they're hot on our heels, and good on them. You know, a few years ago, their scene was...
basically nothing.
Basically nothing. Yeah. Actually, Brisbane was basically the only place where Legacy was played on a regular basis. But so, now Melbourne's catching up.
But with thanks to Sean Brown and Jack Jiggins, I believe is another big one there.
Correct.
They've really built it up down there.
Yeah, the crew from the Salt Mine and a few others. They've worked tirelessly and good on the stores down there, Games Lab and General Games for promoting them. General Games also do some streaming of their events.
Hey, look, there's a link on the screen. How about that?
Perfect.
And while we're looking at that screen, how about those new graphics, mate?
Brilliant.
Hey, I'll tell you what, those took more than 4 seconds in Photoshop. Like the last crappy blue one I had. But was sort of done at the last minute the night before a recording session. So thanks to Steve Fitzpatrick. There's a picture of him there, isn't he? A good-looking guy. So, thanks to Steve. And we've got a few more when we go on to the next screen. So for round one, mate, we've got a nice one for the stars. We've got Jake Lenicorn, I believe it is.
Correct. Jake, local player. He's on Punishing Jund. A deck near and dear to my heart.
You played it for quite a while, didn't you?
Yes, Punishing Jund was the first ever Legacy deck I built and played.
Was that the first one? I remember you played it for ages and you got it fully foiled and baited out. It looks
Correct.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I have it fully foiled and baited out. And I started playing Legacy just around the time, around that Ravnica block, the Return to Ravnica block, when
cool.
Death Ride and Abrupt Decay were printed.
Oh, nice.
And made Legacy Jund a thing. And I own Modern Jund, so it seemed like the logical step. I wanted to play Legacy, build Legacy Jund.
Well, that's how I got into Legacy as well, because I already had Modern Merfolk, and it was only a set of forces, set of dazes, and a couple other pieces, and I was there.
Yeah.
So
I played the deck for a very long time, but I jumped ship once Treasure Cruise and Dixter Time got printed. That was sort of it hit the deck hard, but even once those cards were banned, things like lands and Sneak and Show, which were really bad matchups, became a bit more popular. And all the other fair decks got better tools, whereas Jund, really, in the last couple of years, the only card it's gotten that's playable is Fatal Push. Yeah. Maybe Grimflare, I've seen in a few versions, but really only Fatal Push.
I don't like Grimflare in Legacy. I like it in the Modern build, but not the Legacy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but it does have a place. I have seen lists doing well online with it.
Okay. Well, these are going to be on your lefty screen. On the right, we've got another local. We've got Eddie McCormack.
Yeah.
He's on Elves. Now, Elves is a deck that I cannot get behind, personally. I've never got around to buying Guy's Cradles, and it seems a bit pricey to do it now. It's one of the main reasons. But Elves is always a deck I've done badly against, because I traditionally play a lot of aggro and tempo builds, so all the Delver variants and things like that. So I generally just get crushed by Elves.
Yeah, Elves tends to have some polarizing matchups. I remember when I played Jund, I absolutely hated playing against Elves. Despite all your removal, a single glimpse, a good glimpse turn, a natural order, and you're basically out of the game. You can't win anymore.
Yeah, they go too wide too fast with the mid-range decks.
But thankfully, over the last year or so, I've been playing a lot of Miracles, and I've really enjoyed the Elf matchup there.
Yeah, it's a bit nice when you're on Miracles.
Exactly.
So,
one mana board wipes are pretty good against the deck with lots of dorks.
So your money's on Elves then, is it?
Yeah, I believe Elves is really favoured, particularly game 1. Post board, you start bringing in things like Grafdigger's Cages and Chains and things to shut off the Glimpse and Natural Order. I think John can beat all the other cards in the Elf deck, but Glimpses and Natural Orders are almost unbeatable.
I'm looking at the sideboard. I don't see the Chains of Mephistopheles, so you might be alright for this one. Well, shall we have a look?
Go. Let's go for it.
Alright.
Alright, so Jake won the dice roll, and he's on the play. Pretty good for him. Leading off with a Death Ride or a discard spell early on is one of the keys to winning game 1.
Yeah, you need to strip that hand as soon as you possibly can.
Exactly. Get rid of that Natural Order, get rid of that Glimpse. You have enough removal to take care of everything else. Eddie's still deciding on his 7. Key things that deck wants. Mana Dorks, basically, to start off.
That's not a good start, though.
No Death Rite. We see he has a Punishing Fire in hand, though.
Punishing Fire.
Looks like maybe a Goyf and another red card.
There's a Goyf, a Verdant Catacombs, a Bolt.
Yeah, so a Bolt, a Goyf, Punishing Fire, and lands. So lots of removal, which will buy him time, and a Goyf to help as well, but not much interaction.
And that'll be a Dryad Arbor coming out.
Yep, a Dryad Arbor, Zenith for 0. I'd imagine that Arbor gets bolted on sight.
That's a 1 mana Stone Rain, that's not bad.
Exactly.
He fetches up a red source now and bolts out. He'll be just golden.
Yeah, typically the Punishing Journalists play quite a few Badlands, a few Bayous. Some of them play Tigers. I'm not a big fan of that card because you play 4 Groves and some number of Wastelands.
Yeah, you've got not that much red to begin with, and you don't need that many sources.
And you also need a lot of black because you run Liliana and him.
It looks like he's got 4 Groves and 2 Badlands for his red sources.
Okay.
Just looking at
that's quite typical. I saw a Tiger in there as well. Not a big fan of that, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, sorry, there is also a Tiger in that list. I'm looking on my phone at a photo of the deck list because that's how professional we are here.
Yes. Liliana just fell out while shuffling.
I'm fairly certain by the time you see a Verdant Catacombs and a Badlands that Eddie's going to know there's going to be a Liliana in that deck.
Yes, exactly. Not too many decks play that combination.
And that should be a Bolt.
As soon as he sees the Bolt, he'll know he's on a fair deck, likely on Jund. The only deck that really plays...
There's the Bolt.
There's the Bolt. Only other deck that plays Badlands is Black Red Reanimator.
And they don't play Verdant Catacombs.
And they don't play Verdant Catacombs.
And I love that the one spot on this table, I spent ages getting the lighting right, the one spot to have glare is exactly where we put his graveyard.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I fixed that after your round because you were playing with all foils and that
Correct.
completely messed with my lighting.
So interesting here from Jake, he leads with the Death Rite rather than the Tarmogoyf.
I like the Death Rite here.
I'm not a big fan because it doesn't hold up Punishing Fire, so it's basically Death Rite go. He can't do anything with the mana. I think the Goyf is a better clock, and he can still Punishing Fire Death Rite next turn. So
I like that.
This works out for him if he draws something else he can play next turn, but that's not a guarantee. So I would have led with Goyf here.
Actually, you're right. If the only way this is better is if he has a 4-drop that he can play.
Yeah, a 4-drop, or if he can go Goyf and Punishing Fire your thing.
Yeah, sure. He's got a 1-off Huntmaster. That's about it as far as 4-drops goes. But Punishing Fire and then...
Interesting. So no Blood Braids in his deck.
I'm sure Blood Braids. I keep thinking that's a 3. I played too much Shardless Edge. Yeah, he's got 3 Blood Braids.
Blood Braids, yeah.
Yeah. So he's actually got the 4-drops. He might be alright.
So Blood Braid helps the clock in this scenario, but... and I think most other situations you want the Goyf there because he's attacking in for probably 3 this turn otherwise. Whereas now he still has a good turn. He can Punishing Fire and play the Goyf, but I would have rather been attacking for 3 and just going Punishing Fire Death Rite this turn.
Okay. What's he going to do here? There's the
Goyf
Goyf.
comes down, and he holds on to Bolt Punishing Fire land.
That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Goyf? 3, 4?
Correct. It should be a 3/4 currently. We have a land
Instant
creature
Yeah.
and an instant.
That's wrong, Jake.
They're trying to work out how big Goyf is currently.
That's also wrong, Jake.
That is, yeah. They'll get
He's
there.
going for it.
They'll
You
get
got there.
Excellent.
Yes.
Now, interesting to see whether he holds up Punishing Fire and Bolt, or does he kill something right now? I'm not opposed to killing a Birchlaw because it adds 1 mana as it is.
I mean, it's one of the worst mana dogs there.
It is one of the worst mana dogs, and you'd
sometimes
rather
that's all you
be
need.
killing a Wildwood Symbiote or maybe a Courier Ranger here. But it does make 1 mana, and that might be relevant. A Heritage Druid here would be worse.
Leovold.
Leovold here. So I'd imagine you'd be seeing a response from Jake, killing one of the elves. Otherwise, he would get to draw a card in response. So we see a Punishing Fire here on the Nether Sentinel. I think that's fair. It's a bigger threat. Birchlaw, at the moment, I don't think Eddie's too tied up on mana, so it's not...
Is that a bolt for the Leovold in hand as well?
He does have the bolt, and he also drew a Bloodbraid off the top.
That's
So
actually
interesting.
hard decision there.
It is.
I like getting rid of the Leovold straight away. I've been stung too many times by him in the short time he's been in print.
Correct. However, the Bloodbraid guarantees, you're attacking for 6 this turn, and you might still find something off it that might kill the Leovold or
True.
just be more proactive. It uses your mana better. Like Leovold is not how you lose the game as Jund, but so far that your opponent likely doesn't have a glimpse. Even if he
true.
draws a glimpse here, it won't be great because he only has a few cards in hand. So
It looks like a handful of land as well.
yeah, I saw a land there, 2 lands and another card I believe in Eddie's hand. I like
So you
playing the
probably-
Bloodbraid and just getting the pressure on.
Yeah, you can hold off a little bit on the bolt because
Yeah.
the
And if Bloodbraid gets a card that's not useful, you just choose not to cast
that
it.
looks like Blood Raid.
And here comes the Bloodbraid with the Cascade
Yep.
trigger.
Cascade, off it goes.
Punishing Fire. This is not great.
I would.
It kills
Almost.
the Birchlaw, but he makes him draw a card, which is not ideal.
Mhm.
So, with the Punishing Fire on the stack, I like this from Jake.
Yeah, this is
He
good.
goes to Bolt the Leovold.
But hang on.
This does not work
That doesn't
the
work
way
at all.
they played it.
Yeah.
Because the Punishing Fire has to have a target as soon
Yep.
as it's cast.
He had to choose to cast the Punishing Fire
Correct. So
straight
he
away.
has to Lightning Bolt before the Cascade trigger resolves.
So that's
So Eddie should be upper card
that's a
currently.
missed trigger from Eddie, but
But
that's-
unfortunately, this was 2 weeks ago, and we can't change it.
yeah, it's a little bit late for that now.
Yes, and we see that glimpse off the top. However, Eddie's hand is just a one with
It's
symbiote and
awful.
lands.
He's-
So he could cycle the glimpse, which is about the best outcome right now.
Because that's creature spell off glimpses, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. So
even Zenith doesn't work there.
I mean, he's got to do something. He's facing down.
Correct.
Is that still 3/4 God? Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a 3/4. There's no sorceries yet, but
Between
he's
that, the
on-
Bloodbraid, and the clock on the Deathrite Shaman, he's got to do
yeah,
something.
he's on a 2-turn clock as it is right now. So I see the glimpse, symbiote, and I think there's a green sun in a land.
We really, really need over-the-shoulder cameras for this.
We do, ideally.
So here's my Patreon link, guys. Yeah.
Let's get us more cameras.
Yep.
So we see Eddie fetching here. So his lines are, you can either cycle the glimpse and then hope to draw more elves to keep going, or if he has a Zenith in hand, I'm not sure if he does, he could Zenith for a Visionary and then play the Symbiote.
I didn't see the green sun for it.
There's one card that's unknown, but
What's
I think it's
no, those are 2 lands.
if they're both lands, then
Oh, maybe not. No,
No,
it was a green
it was
Suns
a
for 2,
Zenith,
and he
yeah.
does exactly what you say. They go for the Visionary.
So he goes for the Visionary, draws a card. You can play the Symbiote, bounce the Visionary, and then next turn you can glimpse off and draw a few cards. And better odds of getting a glimpse chain happening.
Yeah, it's
However,
not good odds for him at the moment, but it's the best chance
it does not stop the clock. It could potentially provide a chump block. He could always block with Visionary and bounce it with the Symbiote.
Which is probably what he's going to have to do.
Yeah, saving 3 damage. However, that doesn't work well if a removal spell is ripped off the top, or even a Grove to get back the 2 Punishing Fires. So Jake draws a card. We haven't seen what it is, but he goes straight to attacks.
Yeah.
So I imagine we'll
He's not
see
messing
that
about here. So
with a play of
block, bounce,
and bounce.
and just take the Blood Raid.
I believe Eddie gets down to 10 or 11 here.
It would be
And
11.
another 4 mana spell, which is great. A Huntmaster.
Huntmaster, 2 life on the Wolfie. Yeah, this is all over.
Yeah.
Unless he goes absolutely nuts off that glimpse.
Yeah,
We're
he
getting
has
there.
to basically chain into multiple L's into a Cradle and then get a Crater Hoof on board. But
Some of the Green Suns.
that's going to be very difficult. Green Suns doesn't quite help here. You could get maybe a Heritage Druid and get a lot of mana, but
A lot of mana isn't great when you get
but
nothing to
mana's not
cast.
doing him much here. So he has to hope and pray, get a few L's and a Cradle, so then he can maybe Green Suns for lethal next turn. For a hoof. He draws 2 cards here. The Glimpse is still active this turn. We'll see what he has. He
What's
drew a
he got?
land and an unknown.
Oh,
So his hand is basically just the Zenith and an unknown.
so the
Looks like that unknown was the
Deathrite
Deathrite Charm.
Charm, that's
He
something.
draws a card. He needs a Cradle here, and he does
He
not.
gets a
get
Dried
that.
Arbor. No, this is done.
So yeah, this should be over. He could.
There you go. I think that's me asking him to move his Huntmaster so we can see what's actually going on.
So he could do the same trick of basically blocking and bouncing for 1 more turn. Stops another 4 damage, but we have the Huntmaster, the Wolf token, and the Blood Raid getting through. That's 3, 4, 5, 7 damage. The Deathrite is 9, and I believe Eddie's on
11. So
and then the Huntmaster flips for lethal.
Yeah,
So he has to.
It's over.
He needs to chump block several of his creatures away, which puts him in a
It's
horrible
not
spot for
ideal.
next turn.
Yeah.
And the Huntmaster flip also kills whatever creatures left behind.
So block with the
So block the
The
Visionary
Visionary and the
Underboy
Dried Arbor.
boys and bounce it. The
Yep.
Dried Arbor chumps the Blood Raid to survive.
Mhm.
Then the Huntmaster flips, kills the Wild Symbiote or the
Definitely.
Deathrite.
probably
Yeah.
the Symbiote.
Probably
just
the
in case.
Symbiote.
Yeah.
And then Eddie's just left with a Deathrite
Which is
and
still
a handful
dead in
of
the water.
not much. And he's on, I believe, 2 after all of that. So I thought these at the top, not great here.
No, it's
Any removal spell would have just won him the game. But he
make
grabs
the,
the natural
make
water.
the safe play there with natural water.
Yeah. I would have considered not casting it to ensure the Huntmaster flips. I would have attacked first just to see how the blocks pan out.
That's definitely a post. I mean, the only mana source he's got up is the Deathrite Shaman.
Exactly. And Elves, the only instance they typically play is Abrupt Decay, and that's usually post-board.
Yeah.
So can't imagine anything happening here. So I would have gone for the attacks, see how he blocked,
Yeah, so would I.
and then decide whether Huntmaster gets to flip or not. He does not attack with the Huntmaster, which I think is wrong as well. I believe that's just 2-3 damage.
Yeah, why didn't he? Maybe he was afraid of the double block or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine with a double block. If he double blocks with Deathrite and another creature, you get to kill the Deathrite.
Because he's obviously relying on the Huntmaster transforming,
Yeah,
but he's already stopped that from
but
happening.
it's
with Thoughtseize,
that
yeah.
is not happening this turn anyway. So I'd go for the attack. So I think Eddie is not in as bad of a situation as he should be in, and I believe he just ripped a Cradle off the top.
Was that a Cradle? There's a Visionary there which he bounced. What was that
Yeah.
other card?
I believe his draw step it looked like a Cradle to me. But we'll see. So the Cradle adds a lot of mana, but he only has Zenith and Visionary as his basically his spells that he can cast. So if there was a Cradle, I'd just lead off with the Visionary, see what we draw, and then maybe Cradle.
Make a decision
for,
from there, yeah.
Yeah. And Cradle, add a bunch of mana, bounce the Visionary, recast it, and then maybe Zenith for some creature. Heritage Druid, maybe another Visionary.
Heritage Druid. Yeah, I think Visionary here, just you need something, you need gas.
Yeah, he needs gas, he needs blockers.
Heritage Druid's only good when you've got something to cast with it.
Exactly. So he's adding a mana with Deathrite here.
Yep.
And Jake is not responding by eating it with his own Deathrite, so
Yep.
which I think is fine.
Yeah,
you need the damage off the Deathrite this turn. Eddie doing some math here. He's got 1 mana in the pool right now, and it was a Cradle.
Oh, good.
So he potentially has a lot of mana. Can he Zenith here for a Cradle Hoof? With 1, 2, 3, 4 off the Cradle.
Because Cradle Hoof costs 6?
No, Cradle Hoof I believe costs 8 mana.
Oh, 8 is it? Yeah,
yeah, and then the Zenith adds 1, so he needs 9 mana. With 1 floating, 3 from the Cradle, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he has enough for the Cradle Hoof. However, only the Symbiote will be able to attack if he goes with that route.
Which will be worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not enough. He needs it to block.
Correct. He'll need it to chump, which is not ideal. But as a chump, because it's bigger than everything else, as long as it's not lethal next turn, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So he does play the Visionary, draws a card. It effectively only costs him 1 mana, as it adds to Cradle's mana. The second Visionary is pretty good now. He's got lots of chump blockers, so even though he can't,
and he's bouncing the plate again.
he's advancing it for another draw.
Yep. And getting another mana out of it off the Deathrite.
Correct. So he might not be able to get a Cradle Hoof off this turn, but odds are he can do it next turn.
He can save himself for a turn.
Yeah, and next turn it will be lethal, so Jake has to win in the coming turn. And there might be just enough chump blockers for Eddie to get there.
1, 2, 3, 4 creatures at the moment.
Correct. So I would be adding mana with Deathrite and tapping your land, because the Cradle will be able to add an extra mana.
There's the Visionary back, draw another card.
So now he has access to 5 mana.
That's a Heritage Druid, I think?
Yes. So he has access to potentially quite a lot of mana, actually. So 5 goes down to 4. He can tap for another 3, so that's 7 mana.
7 mana.
However, if he can't do anything with that 7 mana, he can't afford to chump. He can't afford to tap those Visionaries for mana either, because he'll need them to chump. So he casts
Green Suns, we don't have the X value because we're watching this on mute at the moment, but we'll find out what that was. Or we'll find out in a moment anyway, won't we?
Yeah. I'd imagine it's either 1 or 2. It doesn't have enough to get a Cradle Hoof.
Wirewood.
So he just grabs a Wirewood. He has 3 mana floating, so he can bounce the Visionary again and draw another card. And untap the Deathrite.
And get another mana.
I believe there's still lands in the graveyard. So
there looks to be... What's that right at the top?
I believe
There's
the first one is a Dryad
There's a
Arbor.
Dryad Arbor in the
Correct.
graveyard, yeah, off that first turn bolt.
So 3 in pool, you can potentially get up. After replaying the Visionary, you can still have 2 more mana after that.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. 3 green in pool.
There you go. Bounces, untaps,
That's
replays. Draws another card.
It's a glimpse.
It's a glimpse. Doesn't help him much here. You could just cycle the glimpse.
It's probably worth it at this stage.
Yeah. But he may also just need the Deathrite untapped to
chump and gain some... Oh, he's got no other mana untapped, so...
No. Another thing you could do with just the green floating is just attempt to gain life with the Deathrite. Right now.
Yeah. But is that lost potential when he's blocking though? Because you can potentially block 4 damage with the Deathrite.
He already has a few blockers, so this card would only realistically stop 2 damage here.
Yeah.
Because his other cards are better blockers. So.
Or he's Hail Marying the Glimpse. What did he pull?
We didn't quite see that last card. So that Wirewood has already been activated once. So he has access to 3 mana, but then he's down to no blockers. And he passes turn. So you see 2 life drained from Deathrite.
Yep. Down to, I think that's 7?
Correct.
So he's put that die right in the worst possible position.
Yes.
We'll pull that bar down now. So we can't quite see what the life total is, but there's an 8 next to it, and I think he's on 7 life, but I'll fix it up in post anyway.
So right now, Deathrite could drain again for another 2. Huntmaster can flip. That's another 4 damage, bringing Eddie down to 3. So he has to block 3 creatures. Oh no.
Huh?
Is that a pass? No, he bounces his Elvish Visionary after Deathrite is activated for the turn. I believe. So was that the end of the turn?
That was still an end step from the look of it, and Eddie's still thinking about if he wants to do anything else.
I wonder why he bounced. Oh no. I believe this is on his upkeep.
Alright.
It must be on his upkeep. Because he couldn't activate the symbiotes again on his turn.
So he's trying to then gain life with the dried armor.
Yes.
I don't like that.
I don't like that. You're getting rid of a lot of your chump blockers there, potentially. And now you're forced to sort of
drawing
block
cards
with your symbiote.
Drawing cards next turn's no good if you're dead.
Exactly.
So now he's forced to block.
With the Cradle there, you have so much mana. You have lethal with Natural Order, so...
No, he should have just left it as it was. Survive for this turn.
I agree. You block with your Visionaries, you bounce them, and then on your turn, you just tap Cradle, cast a Cradle Hoof of Zenith. Now he loses a lot of potential of Cradle.
Oh, yeah.
And he cannot cast the... I believe he doesn't have enough mana for the...
He's got nowhere near.
Zenith.
His Cradle's for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and the Deathrite is dying as well, so he gains 2 life.
So he gains 2 life and loses 2 off the
Huntmaster as well.
So he's
now,
neutral there.
Yeah. Now he's in a situation where even if he can Zenith for a Cradle Hoof, it's not lethal because he doesn't have enough attackers. So, yeah. I'm not sure what Eddie's thinking there was. But I think he's put himself in a situation with essentially no outs, I believe.
Yeah.
The Huntmaster will flip again, getting him 2 life and getting a wolf.
He has lasted longer in this game than I thought he would, though.
Correct, yes. And I think it comes back down to that Thoughtseize play by Jake a few turns ago.
Yeah.
Without that Thoughtseize, the Huntmaster would have flipped. He would have had 1 less creature on board. And would have been attacking for a lot more last turn.
Yeah, we're done.
I think he would have had lethal. I think...
there's a bit of pressure here as well. I mean, it was one of the first times he's been on camera like this, and it was a sweltering hot day.
Oh, yeah.
So the air conditioning in Good Games after the store caught on fire, apparently one of the units in the aircon's broken.
Yeah.
But they had that aircon set to 15 degrees that day, but with 60 people in the room, there's only so much you can do.
60 people, 60 players, plus staff, plus other players with Yu-Gi-Oh! And board game players.
Oh, I mean, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Guys there too as well.
Yeah, the whole store was packed.
It was,
and it was
a full-on day.
For this time of the year, it was a very hot day.
Yeah. Welcome to Brisbane, guys. I saw all the Melbourne guys came up and they were wearing jeans and a jacket. Yeah, that didn't last long.
It wasn't comfortable, so everyone in between rounds were basically going outside. It was much more pleasant outside, even if you were in the sun, directly in the sun.
Alright, so what do you reckon for these sideboards here?
So I mentioned earlier sideboards, cards like Grafdigger's Cage and Chains. However, Jake had none of these cards in his sideboard, which is interesting. Whenever I played John previously, I always had this card. Chains I agree. It's hard to obtain card, very expensive. And
Meanwhile, Carl's got about 8 of them sitting under the counter that day.
Exactly.
He was trying to sell me one. The Dreaded Knight's of no use to him. Surgical Extraction, I wouldn't personally,
No.
but I can envision people that would.
There were times where I would bring in Surgical, but I'm not a fan. He has 3 Golgari Charm, which
Definitely.
is a very high number. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah,
but
I would
it's
never play
great
more
in
than
this
2.
matchup. I used 2 was the most I played, and it's typically just 1. He has a Toxic Deluge, which is also very good in this
very
matchup,
useful here.
and a Maelstrom Pulse, which he might consider bringing in.
I'd consider it, but only if I've got something worth taking out.
Correct.
It's not something that I want to go around and
Yeah.
to actually make you go out of my way to.
But all these cards, they help against basically all the dorks.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in here that helps against the glimpses and the natural orders. So I'm surprised that there's no additional discard in the board. There's no Grafdigger's Cage.
How much has he got in his main board? There's 4 Thoughtseize.
And I'm guessing
And for him.
For him.
For him.
Him is also not great because you want targeted discard.
Definitely want targeted discard.
Yeah, with Visionary and Symbiote, they can usually, and Glimpse, they'll refuel their hand even after him if it doesn't hit the right cards.
I'd almost go around to taking him or 2 out. Just
Yeah.
to make room for the sweepers.
Potentially, there's quite a few really bad cards, however, in the matchup. Your Lilianas are not great. They're 3 mana removal spells, and you don't even get to choose what you want to kill.
It's kill a creature, not kill that creature.
Exactly,
It's
and
horrible.
at 3 mana, it's pretty annoying. I'm personally not a big fan of Bloodbraid Elf. I think the card is quite slow in this matchup.
You're facing what's almost a combo deck.
Exactly, you have.
You need to go off.
If you can beat the combo aspect of elves, I think you have the inevitability and you'll win. So, in that scenario, I'd be looking to cut those, and you're probably alright to shave a land, a basic forest, in this matchup as well. They don't have wastelands, they don't attack your mana. So, yeah, I think those cards.
I'd be more inclined to do that, yeah. What about an Eddie's side? We're just drawing up, so let's take a quick look at Eddie's. 3 Abrupt Decay, kills Goyf.
Abrupt Decays are good, kills Goyf, kills Death Rights.
2 Thoughtseize, well there's the discard we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of discarding this matchup. Discard is really only there for the unfair matchups, so I wouldn't be bringing it in.
There's not a huge amount to bring in. I bring in Surgical for Punishing Fire, but that's about it.
Surgicals are great for the Punishing Fire. Scavenging Ooze is also very good, just as a Zenith target that can get rid of the Punishing Fires and shrink their Goyfs.
And depending on what he wants to do, I'd almost think about Progenitor.
I do like Progenitus. I'm not a big fan of the card in the deck, Progenitus in Elves, but in this matchup I think it really shines. You can almost guarantee that it'll be Liliana proof, and and you typically board out Lilianas as well, so it's almost impossible to deal with. However, if you ever draw it, it's impossible to cast.
Get that into draw up for 10.
Exactly. So he also has Gaddock Teeg, Mindbreak Traps, and Rurikar on the board. None of those seem very useful.
I wouldn't use any of those.
Yeah, so I'd probably bring in an Ooze, Progenitus, and the Decays.
And it looks like we're back here. Jake is on multi-6.
Jake's on a multi-6. I didn't see his 7. But this hand seems to have a Thoughtseize.
Well, there's an early sweeper, a Thoughtseize.
Dark Confidant. So a pretty good hand. I only saw the 1 land. Was there a second source on that?
I thought I saw a 2 land, but I could be wrong. I wasn't looking that close.
Yeah, there's a fetch land, a Punishing Fire, and a Badlands.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
There isn't a 1-drop, and being on the draw and not having a 1-drop is quite...
Wasn't there a Thoughtseize?
Oh, sorry, there is a Thoughtseize. My bad.
Yeah.
So Eddie leaves off with a Symbiote, not the ideal 1-drop for elves. You really want something that can add mana. So...
And what did he also keep? Visionary and 2 Visionary.
2 Visionaries, Cradle, and 2 lands.
So he kept a 4-lander.
He did. However, it's a pretty good hand in the matchup.
As far as the 4-lander is concerned, he's got 2 Visionary to Symbiote. It's not a bad 4-lander.
Exactly, and the Cradle will help you pump out whatever you draw off the Visionaries.
Yeah, I probably would have kept that too, actually.
Yeah. It's not the best 7, but it's a fun set. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see a Visionary here. Mm-hmm. One thing interesting to note in Eddie's deck is the Leovold. We've seen it being adopted in some Elves decks, but not all of them.
I like that he's playing the Trop too. I've seen a lot of Elves decks playing Leovold and they're really greedy about it. Their only ways of getting that blue is either through Deathrite Shaman or through Natural Order or
Birchlord.
Or Birchlord? Birchlord? Is that any colour?
Birchlord adds any
I
colour.
thought Birchlord was only green. Oh, there you go.
No, Birchlord adds any colour.
Okay.
But I agree. If you're playing Leovold, I think you should be playing one Trop. However, I'm not too sold with Leovold in this deck. I don't mind it in the 75. I'm just not certain you want it in main. It can just lead to very awkward hands where you end up it being stuck in your hand for several turns.
And it is a 3-drop around in a deck going wide.
Exactly. So
Is that a second cradle?
That is a second cradle. So his hand is, I believe, a Nettle Sentinel, 2 cradles, and more land.
It's alright.
It's not a bad hand. So you could cradle, add 2 mana, bounce the Visionary, and replay it.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do from the look of it. Up and down.
So draw another card. However, there'd be no way to play the Heritage Druid. Sorry, the Nettle Sentinel this turn.
Yeah. Sorry, the Heritage Druid wouldn't be much use to it. It is 3 L's on Heritage, isn't it?
It is 3 L's, yeah. So Eddie's likely going to have potentially a very explosive turn 3 if he top stacks something useful.
Except there's a Golgari Charm in Jake's hand.
Exactly. I'd be expecting Golgari Charm coming down here, but all it really kills is the Symbiote.
Why would Symbiote? But that's all you really need.
Oh no, he's already activated it once, so it gets rid of both of them. This is his end.
It's still in Eddie's turn.
Yeah, it's still in Eddie's end step. So it was interesting that Jake did not play the Dark Confidant, but I guess his hand was pretty good with a bunch of removal spells already.
Maybe he was just scared of a setup turn.
Exactly. Yeah.
It wasn't the best setup turn.
Eddie could have easily glimpsed off into potentially a Natural Order. It would have been difficult without another mana dork.
By the time you hit the Natural Order, it's a bit too late, though. I like the idea of hitting that setup turn, where you've got a whole bunch of Visionaries, and hopefully if you can hit a Heritage Druid as well, you absolutely love it.
So Jake goes with Liliana, the Last Hope.
I like this card. I really do.
It's really good in this matchup. However, he had the option of playing Dark Confidant and a Deathrite, which I personally would have gone with.
Especially with no threats on the board.
With Liliana not doing anything straight away as she hits, I think you're better off playing the Dark Confidant and the Deathrite. You have much more mana next turn, you draw more cards, and the Liliana still will likely hit something. So,
and the Liliana can still get that curing range.
Yeah, there's lots of targets with the Liliana, but basically it didn't do much last turn.
No.
And this turn he'll likely just be killing something, punishing fire, and maybe a Deathrite. But back to Eddie's turn. He led off with the Sentinel and the Curing Ranger. He has 2 mana available with the Cradle and another Cradle in hand. So if he has anything else to play here, he potentially has access to Natural Order mana.
I don't like the idea of Cradle just for 4 mana, but anything else in the turn, this can go pretty nicely.
Correct, but if he has a Natural Order, that does kill the Liliana, which is quite important here.
Yeah. Okay.
So we do see that play
so he's doing
of the Cradle into Cradle with 4 mana.
Into
a Zenith for 3. Interesting. Is he getting a Leovold here?
Is it for 3? Yeah, let's find out.
He might still have mana floating. I'm not quite sure.
We'll see what he gets. He's thinking about it.
He's thinking about the Leovold.
Yeah, it's Leovold. Okay, so no mana in pool.
So the Leovold's good here in that it stops the Liliana. Well, it doesn't stop the Liliana, but it makes the Liliana a lot worse.
He's preparing for the inevitable there.
Exactly. And Jake, with only Punishing Fire in hand, there's no clean way of getting rid of the Leovold. He can Punishing Fire and then pick up Liliana, but that's a lot of cards.
What did he choose?
So he chooses to Punishing Fire the Nettle Sentinel, which is interesting. Yep. We'll get to draw a card here. I'm guessing he's going to uptick on the Curing Ranger.
It's another card for Eddie.
Is another card for Eddie. And with the Cradle out, it's very risky plays.
And does Grove's mana ability... Oh, no, Grove's mana ability doesn't target, does it? Otherwise it wouldn't be a mana ability.
No.
Yeah. Each opponent gains a life, I think it is.
I believe so, yes. So the only other option Jake has is to play out a Deathrite. So he tapped his mana a bit awkwardly there. He didn't need Eddie to gain a life. He could have tapped the Badlands and the Grove to cast the Punishing Fire, and then
cast off the Bayou. Yeah.
So a small misstep there.
That's right.
No, it's interesting to see what he does with the Liliana. Goes for the Grim Ranger, but Eddie's drawn 2 cards of the Leovold already, and
it's 3
likely.
Cards.
Sorry.
Isn't that 3 cards? Oh, no, that's from last time.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah.
He's targeted 2 things. He's drawn 2 cards. And now he has something to attack the Liliana with. And he has a natural order off the top as well. So he could natural order here.
He's got the Dryad Arbor, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what he's going to do.
So, Crater Hoof is not lethal here. However, it does kill...
That'll do. That'll do just nicely.
Progenitors. And like we mentioned, it's the only outs Jake has is Liliana the Veil.
And he has to get rid
of
the Leovold first.
Yeah.
You can bolt the Leovold, drop a Liliana.
Correct. He could punish, yeah.
Because he sacrificed the Dryad Arbor. Yeah, so he's got nothing else.
Yeah.
But that's a very specific line.
Yeah, and he doesn't have enough mana to be able to kill the Leovold and deploy Liliana. None of which he has in his hand.
Well, he can. He's got he's got 4 mana, right?
He's got 4 mana. Only a Lightning Bolt would work here, and Liliana, but he has neither of those cards in hand.
Is that a Goyf as the 3rd card in his hand?
Correct. He drew a Him for a turn, he drew a Goyf last turn, and a Dark Confidant.
And he's got Storm at the bottom.
So, going back to a few turns ago when the Liliana was played, he could have had a Dark Confidant in play.
Yeah, he could have had a much better board presence. I mean, he's got 13 life, he's absolutely fine.
And would have been drawing more cards, making his land drops. He might not have still won, but Progenitus is still very difficult to beat.
Yeah,
but
I mean...
I think he would have given himself a better shot
at it. He would have been better off, and the only... Yeah, okay, so it doesn't matter.
And if the scoop to the Progenitus.
So, the only difference would have been that the Liliana would have 1 fuel counter on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's okay. We all make bad plays like that. The problem is now it's stuck on the internet forever.
Yeah, exactly. And any of your mates criticising you about it.
Lest we forget Galf blasting a Liliana. Let's play that clip again, right there. Alright, so would you make any changes going into Game 3, though?
I don't think so. There's not too many cards that are better or worse in the play and the draw. In this matchup, there's typically just either good cards and bad cards.
There's only the decision maybe to shave a land.
Potentially, yeah. You could. I would be shaving a land regardless as a John player.
Yeah.
But we do see Jake boarding out. I believe Surgical.
Is that Surgical?
Yeah. There was Surgical and another card. Might have been 2 Surgicals.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible card to bring, but...
Yeah. But with the amount of discard that Jake has, it's not... I don't think it's enough to bring the Surgicals in.
I mean, if you can hit a turn 1 Thoughtseize, Surgical, or Natural Order or something, you're going to be laughing.
Exactly. But you're only running the 4 Thoughtseize.
Yeah, 4 Thoughtseize and the Hymns.
And the Hymns. But the Hymns have to hit, yeah. Back when I played John, I tended to have some number of duresses in the sideboard.
I'd want in order to actually bring the Surgicals in against themselves, I'd want at least the Inquisitions.
Yeah,
a couple of Thoughtseize and a duress.
Exactly.
It looks like we've got a pretty quick turnaround for Game 3, so let's come back to it.
I don't believe Eddie made any changes. It didn't look like he did. But I'm not sure what Jake brought in. He took out the Surgicals and he brought back in something. Maybe the Lilianas are a bit... Liliana the Veil's a bit better on the play. Because
not by much, I mean...
Not by much, but you do have the potential of going Deathrite. The Elf play goes turn 1 Manador, and you can go Liliana, downtick, and then you can uptick afterwards.
I forgot about the turn 1 Manador, but yeah, you're right. So turn 2 Liliana might hit that first Deathrite Shaman.
It's potentially a little bit better. I still don't like it in the matchup, but
It's not great.
I prefer it over the surgical.
Oh, there's a
So
lot.
both players took
Social.
their sevens. I saw a couple of land in Jake's hand, and I believe there was a punishing fire and a death right potentially.
So he's got the Liliana still in there.
Hmm.
See?
We did see the Liana.
What else is in there? It's spicy.
So he kept his Hunt Masters in.
What do you think of that one?
Yeah, it's the same deal with Bloodbraid. I think they're quite slow in the matchup.
Mm.
However, I think Hunt Masters are a little bit better than Bloodbraid. Mainly because you have a bit of control over it.
Gives you a tiny bit of staying power as well.
Yeah. And it also gets you a bit wider on the board.
Which you need against elves.
Yeah. So, on the play, I don't mind the Hunt Master. He only runs for one, so I'd probably just keep it in.
Yeah,
So
it's a
we have,
spicy model, that's fine.
Dueling Deathrite Shamans.
Well, Jake's going to
what,
take advantage this turn while he can.
Yeah. It's what Legacy's about now, Dueling Deathrite Shamans.
Well, there was a punishing fire there, take out the Death Right and you're golden.
Exactly. But it's not common that you see Dueling Deathrights in this particular matchup. Having Deathrights in non-blue decks
Yeah.
in the feature match here.
I don't play non-blue decks. It doesn't happen. So I've never seen it personally, but
No.
I have often duelled a John's Death Right or an Elf's Death Right.
Yes. So we'll likely see a punishing fire, but I don't know if he has a one drop to follow up with that. I saw a Goyf in hand.
Well, you got something.
He definitely has something there. I thought
Thoughtsies.
That's pretty good. And then he
What have
just
we got?
hands in his hand. We have two symbiotes, a Deathrite, a Natural Order, and a
Very
Cradle.
natural order, guys.
So there goes the Natural
What was
Order.
that last one, sorry?
There was a Cradle, two symbiotes, and a Deathrite.
Death Right. Yeah.
I believe he still has another punishing fire for the Deathrite. However, he could go symbiote Deathrite here and be able to save the Deathrite.
Forcing him to hit the
Taking the
symbiote.
Natural Order is definitely the right play. It's
Definitely the right play.
hard card to beat. However, Eddie's going to be not in a horrible spot. He'll have to deal with that Tarmogoyf and a removal spell. So
How big's the golf at the moment? Sorcery, creature, land, instant?
yes,
It's a 4-5. That's a
4/5.
big one.
It's a big Goyf. So I'd imagine we'll see the punishing fire. If he draws a land, he drew a him, which is very good.
Oh, it's very good here. He's still got only a couple of cards in hand.
Yes. However, I don't believe he has the land drop to be able to cast the him.
No.
So
That's
this is unfortunate. Jake is stuck on mana,
I mean,
and Eddie could pull away here with another symbiote, and I believe he has a Zenith in hand and more land.
so if he gets the land next turn, though, he's going to be alright, because he's got either
Correct. If he has,
him Goyf or double Goyf. The him could potentially grow the other Goyf.
yeah.
Not if he keeps stripping
If he
lands
draws
like that.
if he draws a, I think he plays him regardless because it's just gonna become almost useless after the next turn.
Yeah, definitely.
But if he does draw land, it lets him Goyf or what was the last card in his hand?
Second Goyf.
Second Goyf. Okay, yes, it lets him Goyf, which is pretty good. So Eddie will go with the symbiote here. He could play the Cradle and Zenith. Couldn't he play the Cradle and Zenith for a Visionary here?
He could. Yeah, what was the other card in his hand?
I believe it's a land and a Zenith and a
Okay.
Cradle.
Yeah, I'd grab the Visionary here.
Yeah. If that is a Zenith in hand, which I believe it is.
Tilt it very slightly, Eddie. People are watching.
Yes. So here comes the Cradle, 2 mana, 3 mana. It was a Zenith.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to put up a counter right now. The Jitesh called it counter. See how many times you've called the exact play. I think it's about 7 now.
another option could be actually getting a Scavenging Ooze, because there is no growth on Jake's side.
His Goose is good
And
here.
he could eat his graveyard to shrink the Goyfs, which he doesn't know about.
Yeah.
In fairness. But he could get rid of the punishing fires before they ever become a problem.
He's also worried about the... Oh, yeah, true.
That's assuming he brought in the scavenging ooze, which I guess he did.
But being tapped out there, I'd be worried about another punching fire or a bolt or just about anything that could kill the scavenging ooze.
Correct.
Or, toxic. At the very least, if you have the Elvish, you get instant value.
The Visionary is a safer play, and it gets you a lot more long-term staying power by being able to draw cards all the time. So a heads-up play here from Eddie. You see him bouncing the Visionary, so he can untap his Deathrite and then activating his Deathrite. So Jake doesn't have the mana. So it'll ensure that Jake can't double spell this turn. However, it means that him can hit the Elvish Visionary. So 2 out of 3 chance that he can.
2, 3. What is it?
What did he hit? I believe his other card was a land and an unknown. He hit the Visionary and the Glimpse.
Oh.
Perfect 2 out of 3. Leaving Eddie with just the land in hand now.
Better lucky than good, Jake.
So I haven't seen what he drew this turn.
That's the land.
So that is the land. He has a lot of mana available to him, but not a lot of gas.
He gets rid of the punishing fire.
Gets rid of the punishing fire, which is quite important. Attacks with the symbiote. And I believe there was a fetch land in hand. If it was a fetch land, I'm curious why play the Bayou. I guess the Bayou gives you your black.
Yeah.
The fetch land could get a Dryad Arbor.
Why does he need the black at the moment? He's already got the Deathrite Shaman.
The black was just to activate the Deathrite.
Oh, of course. Of course. That makes sense.
So I believe we'll see a double Goyf here from Jake. Putting Eddie on a very fast clock.
That's a fast clock. I was pre-screening this footage the other night and I tried to keep life total tracks on this one, but I didn't end up writing it down.
Unfortunately. We'll see, I believe they're still 3/4 ghosts.
Are they 3/4?
Yeah, they're still a punishing fire.
Creature, sorcery, land. Is that a punishing fire? Instant, that's 4/5.
Yeah. However, I'd imagine the punishing fire gets eaten very soon and will shrink down to a 3/4.
Beyond just shrinking out the ghosts, it's a punishing fire. You can get a grow at any point.
See another Deathrite off the top, which is actually quite good. It will help shrink the ghosts a bit quicker. And with the symbiotes, you can potentially activate Deathrite multiple times. Interesting. You see another Bayou here, and not a Dryad Arbor. That's the fetch land.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that.
Jake looking at his watch. Wonder if he has somewhere to be.
Well, he's got quite a few rounds left to play today. We had 6 rounds cut to top 8.
Yes. So there goes the punishing fire.
And plus the round timer is immediately next to these players from where the match was set up. I remember this became a problem later in the day because we're right next to a window as well and the sunlight came through.
Yes.
I stood for half the match just in the way, so we cast a shadow over the table.
Okay, so he's going for the Shrink the Ghost plan. He activated Deathrite, played a Deathrite, bounced that Deathrite to untap his non-summoning sick Deathrite Shaman.
Oh, feels good.
Yeah. So, is there still a sorcery?
There is the natural order. And also, is that a glimpse as well?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a glimpse of nature.
Second glimpse, that got himmed. So.
Yeah, and there's the hymn. There's plenty of sorceries.
And
there's an instant back up to 4/5.
So he goes for the bounce. So this ghost should be back down to a 4/5.
There we go. Yeah, he's got it
right. And with no black mana available, it can't be shrunk down. So Eddie will be taking 8 here. Unless he wants to chomp with the Deathrite. But
oh no, he's not getting that. I think he's just setting it up so he says he used it.
Yes.
Looks like he's taking it.
Yeah, I think he has to. You can't afford to give up either your Deathrite or your symbiote. Yeah. We'll go for the game 2 flag. And Jake decides to game 2.
Yep. Up to 10.
I think that's right. Rather than gaining 2 and then trying to lose 2 with Deathrite, keep the keep the graveyard stocked by fighting over the same card. Your Goif remains big, and in future your Death Rights are still alive.
And more importantly, he's on the beatdown.
Exactly.
That 2 life matters.
That 2 life matters. But, I mean, like, it's the same as activating the Death Right to drain for 2.
True.
From a life perspective, but from a graveyard resource perspective, I think fighting over the same card is better long term for Jake.
Yeah, that's one less punishing fire. That's
So,
true.
So we know Eddie has a Death Right, plus the card he drew for turn. I'd imagine you'd see an activation of the Death Right, getting rid of the punishing fire, shrinking the Goifs again.
Yeah, now's a good time.
You could run back the play you did last turn and activate.
Do it twice.
Do it twice and get rid of the natural order.
It won't shrink the Goif down any further, but...
I believe is natural order the only sorcery?
No, it's still...
There's a
glimpse.
him.
There's a him,
right?
yeah. So the glimpse is gone. What's
The
that
glimpse
top
is
card?
gone.
That's a Death Right Shaman, I believe.
Ooh.
Sure, why not?
This is Green Suns.
Green
A
Suns
very
for 2.
timely Green Suns for 2. I imagine we'd see the Scavenging Ooze here.
Yeah, now's a good time to scoos.
With lots of green mana.
Would have preferred to have cast that with... Oh no, he needs the body for the Death Right Shaman.
No, I don't think so. I agree. I think if you tapped your lands, because then using the green, using the Cradle for 4, you could get rid of all the instants and sorceries together. And then use your Death Right for mana.
True.
And the Goifs just become, I believe, 1.
For the sake of getting rid of 1 extra card, though, that's 4 life that is not being lost. So if you use it... I mean, you only use 1 bio, I suppose it doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it means Jake loses 2 less life, and Jake is a bit low looking at that life total.
And with the life total that low, that's 2 life.
Yeah. I just like shrinking the Goifs here. Just in case a removal spell comes off the top.
You've still got potential to do that. I mean, not now.
So I believe those Goifs are still 4/5s. They're not 4/5s.
What's that Death Right Shaman doing down there?
I believe he just tapped it for mana and he moved it in with his hands. He couldn't have tapped. Oh wait, no. Yeah, what is that Death Right Shaman do? That's the 3rd Death Right.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Huh.
Ah.
Mystery Death Right Shaman appears onto the battlefield. So you see the Goifs have shrunk due to the scoos, and Jake still goes through with the attack that loses him a Goif to the Scavenging Ooze. That's interesting, seeing that Eddie's only down to 10 after that attack. I don't like that attack.
I don't either.
Especially if Jake's down to 8. I believe this is just lethal on the backswing.
Can be. 2/4 off the Death Right Shamans. You'll chump with the Death Right on the scoos
On
and
the
gain
scoos,
2.
yeah.
Off the Goif.
Yeah, but he can stop the game.
Yeah.
So he can go to eat all the creatures now, and if Death Right's activated, then it's just lethal. So yeah, I believe Eddie has this locked up.
It might be over.
So that's 4, down to 4. You can activate the symbiote advancing Death Right Shaman. But he's going for Scavenging Ooze on the 1 creature left to gain him a life. So Death Right's on chump block duty.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake will be down to 2 here with an activation of the symbiote. If he has a creature in hand, he could... Yeah, so with this creature, I believe he has lethal on Jake's turn.
Yeah,
you can untap a Death Right, activate the Death Right again.
Yeah, he's got lethal on upkeep.
Yes, and get him on the upkeep.
And that symbiote is 1 free damage. I like that.
The symbiote is the free damage here. So he has him down to 1 this turn.
Yep. As he bounced, he didn't bounce and untap the other Death Right.
He has to bounce on his upkeep because he's already used the symbiote once.
Oh, that's right.
I believe.
Yep.
But he does have the win on the upkeep, so I'm not sure why he didn't go through.
No, he's on 3 though. Jason 3.
He's short on blacks black mana. He only has the one black mana. That's why.
Yeah, that's why you can only do it once.
You can only do it once. But it's all elementary now.
It really is. I mean, they're just going through the motions.
Only outs. There's no outs, I believe, left in Jake's deck. He has the Toxic Deluge that could wipe the board, but that would kill him.
He's just taking the entire graveyard out now.
Yeah.
Just to really rub it in on
I believe there was only the one instant and source screen there as well, so.
Yeah. And then he's going to use the skews to get rid of the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, he has 5 attackers now for the 1 damage. So, regardless, Ghost is going to be a 0-1 soon. And
Glimpse for the
plays the Glimpse for the lethal.
There's a bolt.
I believe Jake is bolting himself in.
Yeah, that's it. That's the handshake.
And that's the handshake.
And he got something
match played out as expected somewhat.
Rubbing the sweat off the hands because it is 1,000,000 degrees in the shop at this stage.
So I thought the match was favoured for Elves, and it turned out it was. However, it was surprising that the match that Jund won.
Oh, the other thing that
was the game one.
We're actually in time. That was turn 3 of turns.
Ah.
Oh, I didn't see that down there. Because the exposure on the camera.
I guess Jake had been out of potentially getting a draw somehow.
Yeah, he had to play for that draw, but there was no chance of that happening. No. That was over.
So I think well played by both of them.
It was close.
You could tell Eddie's played the deck before.
It was closer than
knows the lines.
Yeah. Eddie's been playing the deck for a couple of years now, hasn't he?
Yeah, but
so has Jake.
But Eddie doesn't play too much of Legacy. He's not a usual frequenter of Tuesday nights. He does play occasionally, but Jake does play. Jake's only been playing, I believe, for the last 6 odd months, maybe a bit longer.
I know he's been playing Legacy Jund for the entire time he's been playing Legacy, because I think his first night showing up, I was his very first opponent.
Yes.
And,
but I believe there's got to be less than a year ago.
He's definitely better now than he was.
Yeah.
I think the first time I played him was after GP Brisbane, because the shop had burnt down. We're in the other location.
Correct. So that would be the start of the year. So
yeah,
just about 6 months ago.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. Jund is the only deck I've ever seen Jake play. Yeah. So both played quite efficiently there. I think it turned out as expected. Elves is favoured there.
Yeah, I mean, he put up a better fight than I thought he was going to, but Elves definitely.
I agree, and Jake's sideboard was well set up to beat the creature strategy for Elves. However, I felt it was a bit lacking.
Was very, very weak on the combo side, but we didn't get to see that. So.
It didn't pan out.
It both came down to
Eddie's draws. Although, to be fair, the natural order did win him the game.
It did.
Game 2.
But that wasn't the combo. That was just a good card.
It was just a good card. However, if you do have more hate cards for it, like Grafdigger's Cage, you could play around it a bit better.
And he didn't have the Grafdigger's Cage, and well, that's it for round 1. We'll see you in round 2.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.